Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. It is Sunday, April 30th. I'm going to do several throws on Kevin McCarthy. We've got his budget plan that's been approved by the narrowest of margins, being sent to the Senate, where it's expected to be dead on arrival. And then we've got the debt ceiling. And McCarthy is trying to tie the budget with the debt ceiling, which has never been done before because there's no reason to tie those two things together. It's like getting an oil change with your car with when you fill up the gas tank. You don't have to change the oil when you fill up the gas tank. You can fill up the gas tank whenever you need gas. You need to change the oil every 10,000 miles, depending on your vehicle. And that might take 6 months. That might take a year, depending on how much you drive. But that's kind of the analogy with it. There's a term that's being thrown about which is called brinkmanship. I hadn't really heard that term before, so I looked it up. And it just reads, it's the art or practice of pursuing a dangerous policy to the limits of safety before stopping, especially in politics. And that's what we've got going on with the debt ceiling right now. Through the magic of the Treasury, they managed to extend the debt ceiling issues until about May or June, at which point the Congress has to raise the debt ceiling so that we don't default on our debts. Now, the debt ceiling isn't upcoming spending. This is spending you've already done. It's like your credit card. You got a credit card balance, and you are going to write the check to pay off the credit card. And in this case, your spouse is basically saying, no, you don't get to write any checks out of the checkbook until you change the oil in the car. How about we pay our credit card bill and then we change the oil in the car? Whatever. It's the Republican Party doesn't have a lot they can throw at us right now that's positive. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Trigger alert if this ends up on the MAGA side of YouTube, this isn't a MAGA friendly channel. You're more than welcome to stay and listen. And if you do listen, please have an open mind. You might learn a few things that you hadn't heard, or maybe I'll offer you a new perspective on something. Just throwing that out there. But the debt ceiling doesn't need to be tied to this, and it's causing a lot of anxiety. I don't, into it. I'm just going to throw on the debt ceiling. How, with the current situation in the U.S., will the debt ceiling be passed? Will some compromise be reached so that the U.S. does not go into default? Tell me about the debt ceiling. The cards have been jumping around all over the place. They've been very anxious for me to read them. So here we go. It's been a few days off. Welcome back. I'm glad to be back. Okay, what do we have? We have the Fool. It's a new journey. Okay, in the spirit of brinkmanship, this is a foolish errand that we're on because it's unnecessary. We don't need to step off the cliff. What are we crossing it with? Planning. This is, again, I think this is, we're trying to pass the debt ceiling, but they're trying to tie it to the budget. The planning for the budget. We got energy in the past. Energy in the past, no. Nine of Pentacles. It's a lovely card. This woman has lovely things. She's got a lovely gown and a bird and a garden. She has all the nice things. Bought on credit. Now you gotta pay. You gotta pay the bill. You bought all the stuff. You can't return it. So you gotta pay for it. Current situation. Holding on. Is this the U.S. holding on to its high credit rating? Is this the U.S. trying to hold on to a safe policy instead of brinkmanship? But it's really what it is that we have a political party that's a minority party that has a modicum of power in the House of Representatives, but they're used to being a party that just resists everything. And now that they have to legislate, they don't have the right people in that party to do the job. So they're trying to basically hold everything up, slow everything down, and grab as much as they can or hold on to the past as tight as they can because they don't want to plan for the future. This is just obstruction for the sake of obstruction. Overarching energy is the Empress. The Empress is about taking care, making sure everybody has enough of everything. So, I don't want to tie the budget into this. This is just the debt ceiling. We bought the stuff. We need to pay for it. Why do we need to pay for it? Because we're responsible. Because we're a world leader. Our currency is the standard currency of the world. It's the gold standard. And, we kind of, I hate using the term rule the world, but we have an oversized amount of influence throughout the world. And the people look to the U.S. to lead. To not pay your bills, from what I understand, is a very devastating thing. It's going to cause a lot of calamity in the markets. And this is the anti-calamity card. Lesson to be learned. This could be looking at the budget. This is looking at the money that we're spending, and it's the harvest. So when you raise the debt ceiling, it's because of things that you've purchased, and maybe after we get this debt ceiling raised, what we really need to do is take a long, hard look at what we're spending our money on, and how we're spending it. And that will probably be an outcome of this. What is the outcome? Temperance, perseverance, integration. See, the sun is just rising. I believe that what this is telling me, it's going to get done. It's going to be a slow process. It's going to be a tedious process. And as you see the water's going from cup to cup, it means that there's going to have to be some compromises. Compromises that probably we don't want to see, but in order to make this happen, this is going to have to happen. So I'm sure Kevin McCarthy will view it as a huge win, but but I think there's celebration. It does get done. Okay, so. It's a fool's errand. So again, to sum up, it's a fool's errand that we're going on, basically taking this right to the edge of the cliff, because they want to tie it with the budget, the planning of the budget, but you don't need that. We bought the items in the past. We need to pay for it, and we can't worry about who's got political power and who looks good or bad when we do this. We bought the things. We need to pay for it. If you want to hold on to those things, you got to pay for those things. Got to take care of everybody. Got to take care of your bills. Take care of your people. And if you don't like how much money we're spending, then we need to start looking, you start looking at your budget for how you're going to spend differently. But remember, the debt limit and the budget are two separate things. And in the end, it does happen. It'll probably happen very late in the process, but it does happen. And there'll probably be some unfortunate compromises made, but it happens in the end. That's good news. I guess, here I am being all judgy, but, that's good news that we passed the debt ceiling. It shouldn't be to the 11th hour. I should find that temperance card. I want to find that temperance card. I want to throw on that. Hold on for a second. Finding it. There we go. I'm going to throw I want to throw clarifiers on the temperance card. Yeah, I was saying that it looks like there's some compromises in there. So I'm going to ask Spirit. What compromises are we talking about? What are the compromises that, or can you give us some clarification on the temperance card? I'm assuming it's compromises. How are we going to feel about those compromises? Give me some energy around those compromises. Okay, wants to stay. Well, we'll find out. It's the Sun card. Truth will be exposed. Usually when you throw clarifiers, you stop on the first major arcana, and I'm okay with that. I think Spirit's just saying, you'll find out. It's not decided yet. You'll find out when it happens. Okay. Now, switching gears. The budget. Kevin McCarthy has passed a god-awful budget. A budget where it's purported that the moderates in the party are not thrilled with it because there's cuts to veterans benefits and food stamps and social programs and things along those lines. And allegedly McCarthy has said, don't worry about it. It'll never pass in its current form. So just vote for it so we can get something done, so we can stick it to the libs and show Joe Biden that we can pass a budget. And at the same time, you can't tell that to the MAGA crowd inside the Republican Party because they don't want you apologizing for cutting benefits. They probably would be not real happy if they found out you're cutting veterans benefits, and veterans groups are raising the alarm on that. But Joe Biden backed you in the corner saying you weren't going to cut Social Security benefits or raise Social Security ages or cut Medicare and Medicaid and all that. So the Republican Party's stuck. McCarthy he's in an awful position. Let's put it that way. He is not in a position of strength when he's dealing with this party. But is this budget going anywhere? Give us the energy. Tell us about this budget. What's going on with this thing? For entertainment purposes only. Well, it's a hurry up and wait. They got it through there, and now they can relax and just sort of let the budget come to them, as it were. So again, this is the Four Swords. It's like a card of meditation, but I think in this case, it's it's also could be you can't move too quickly now. You got three swords pointed at you. I think they got their budget put in there, and there's a lot of sharp things in it that are probably going to get removed, but it wasn't a matter of getting a passable budget. It was just getting something written on a piece of paper, probably in crayon, over to Joe Biden's desk. We'll cross that with the King of Wands. They got something done, and now they've handed it off. Or they could be pretending to be the big man on campus. Yeah, we got it done. All right. Unless Joe Biden's the King of Wands. But I think this is more McCarthy feeling like, yeah, we got it done. Look at us. We're pretty badass. In the past, there we go again. Just like the same thing that came out with the debt ceiling. In the past, they're trying to hold on tightly to whatever power that they have, and with their budget, they can't because it's in black. The budget's in black and white. It's going to basically tell you what's going to be cut, and you can't please everybody in that party. There's just too many factions, and if you want to please the extremist faction, you're going to hurt a lot of regular Americans that vote red. Current situation, Queen of Wands. Okay, so they've got their budget out there, and now they're just going to wait and see what happens. Again, kind of like the King of Wands with the Four Swords. The current situation is, all right, we got the debt ceiling. We're going to negotiate the debt ceiling. We got the budget. There's your sunflower. Stuff's coming in June. The sunflower I tend to think of as when summer starts. Summer starts in June. That's when the debt ceiling is. So right now, I think they're waiting on the budget because they're now going to negotiate that debt ceiling. Wheel of Fortune. This budget, spin the big wheel. It's karmic, and it's out there. You can't take it back. We are coming up on primaries, and some people voted for this budget, and this is not going to be forgotten by the Democratic Party. I'm sure they will be reminding voters, especially in swing states, over and over again, what their congressperson voted for with that budget in the House. Lesson to be learned. Oh, it's about time the tower came out. Lesson to be learned. That was a bad move. trying to tear down the country with the debt, not raising the debt ceiling and threatening the country to collapse, creating a budget that is going to harm people and not support them. This is just going to be their undoing. I was just talking about the Wheel of Fortune with the upcoming election. This is going to be the lesson. This is going to be the painful lesson they learn come primary time, that people aren't going to like what they're doing. Times might start getting hard in the summer and fall. And people are going to want to be angry and blame somebody for it. And the Democrats, if they get working on their messaging, it won't be Joe Biden they're blaming. It's going to be the Republicans with this. Look what they wanted to do to you. Outcome, Two of Pentacles. What's happening with this budget? There's going to be negotiations with it. But again, Kevin McCarthy he's trying to juggle so much. He has to juggle the MAGA faction versus moderates versus everybody else. And any one person can ask for a vote of no confidence, which he may or may not win. It's going to be tumultuous times as the budget negotiations start going through here. I would expect that Biden's going to get most. This would tell you Biden's going to get most of everything he wants, but he's going to include some stuff in there because compromise. Underneath it all, Death card. Okay, so it's the end of a cycle. I think. Oh my God! This is the end of McCarthy. Somewhere between. Wow! Turn snark to 10. Somewhere between the debt ceiling and the budget, or maybe after the budget is done, McCarthy's going to be voted out. They got the budget done for the King of Wands. That's McCarthy. But I think what happens is that, he gets there's that evaluation, the Queen of Wands, as they're negotiating the budget. There could be maybe a woman in the party challenges McCarthy's position, which would be that karmic thing that brings a sudden end to his tenure. Bye-bye. You were juggling. You're not juggling anymore because it's the end. Okay, I'm interested now. As much as anxiety as McCarthy and the Republican Party are causing, never forget they are self-destructing as we watch, and it's because the party is filled with a bunch of extremists who don't compromise, who think that compromise is weak, and if you compromise, you lose. So they don't compromise on anything; they just obstruct. Okay. Don't we all want to know? Okay, so, Spirit, I have a question for you. I was going to ask a different question, but I want this question now. Kevin McCarthy. After the debt ceiling, does Kevin McCarthy lose his job somewhere between now and soon after the budget getting passed? We could just say in 2023. Does Kevin McCarthy... Is he voted out as Speaker of the House before the end of 2023, before the winter solstice of 2023? Is Kevin McCarthy out as the House Speaker? Oh, man. For entertainment purposes only. Let's see if the cards start exploding on me. It's been a weekend. Okay, what do we got? Do you want to be up on top? You sure? Okay. Kevin McCarthy, you going to be out? Oh, that's not a good start. Nightmares. Done it to himself. What have I done? What was I thinking? If he's not out, he sure as hell wants to be. Hard burden. Good Lord. Queen of Swords. And the Magician. Okay. And then underneath is the Strength card. Is he out? Okay, so right, it's kind of telling me he's in a nightmarish position. There's been a harsh judgment on him, and this person's just going to come and say, "Nope, you're not getting the job done." And this job's an incredible burden. And the magician's about manifestation, but it's also about illusion. And I think in this case, he can't fake his way out of this. He cannot fake his way out of this. And underneath is the strength card, the mastery card, but he hasn't shown mastery. He's shown weakness. Is he out by the end of the year? I'm going to say yeah. If not voted out, he resigns. Because it's just, the job's too much. He can't do it. And I think there might be a woman, there's somebody in here who's just very cut and dry saying, nope, sorry, you're not cutting the mustard. And there's nothing he can do about it. He might try and bluster his way, but he won't make it a vote. And he might resign before the vote so that he doesn't have to live the nightmare, the humiliation of being voted out. Couldn't happen to a nicer fellow. You know, that's just the bed he made. It's just the bed he made. Okay, so what did we learn here today? We learned that this is for entertainment purposes only. That's what we learned today. Debt ceiling. Debt ceiling looks like it's going to be raised. It might be some things that we don't like that are promised because of the debt ceiling. The budget. The budget's not going to go particularly well for the GOP. They'll probably get some things on it, but it looks like it's going to cost Kevin McCarthy his job. And when I look at that job, he's in a nightmare scenario. He doesn't have power. He doesn't have influence. And finally, somebody just pulls the plug on him, and it's up to him. Either he's going to be voted out or he's going to resign his position. And I predict it'll probably be after the budget's done, before the end of the year. Okay, so put a pin in it. We'll find out how I did. All right, I hope you enjoyed this reading. Give it a thumbs up and do all the YouTube-y stuff. And I thank you very much. Have a great weekend. I'll throw some more videos up soon. Take care. Bye-bye.